The Kingdom of Bhutan. Early foundations and the rise of Bhutan. Bhutan, a small kingdom nestled in the eastern Himalayas, has a rich and unique history that dates back to the 8th century. It was during this time that Buddhism began to take root, largely due to the influence of the Indian missionary Padmasambhava, who is credited with establishing the foundation for the country's religious. The land remained isolated for much of its early history, with various regional rulers and monasteries wielding power in different valleys and regions. The emergence of the kingdom as a unified entity can be traced to the 17th century, when Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal, a Tibetan Lama, unified the land and established a dual system of governance that balanced spiritual leadership with political power. His reign, from 1616 to 1651, is considered the founding of the Bhutan, East state as known today. The role of Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal in unifications. Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal is revered as the father of Bhutan, and his unification of the country remains a defining moment in its history. The political and spiritual leader came as a refugee fleeing religious persecution in Tibet. He sought refuge in the western regions and was instrumental in consolidating power among local rulers. Through a combination of military force, diplomacy, and religious leadership, he succeeded in bringing together the diverse regions and peoples. One of his most notable achievements was establishing the dual system of government, in which monks held spiritual authority while secular rulers managed political affairs. This system allowed the nation to maintain its unique identity, balancing traditions with governance. Isolation and relations with neighbors for centuries. Bhutan maintained a policy of isolation, which allowed it to develop its unique culture and protect sovereignty. However, isolation also meant navigating complex relations with larger neighbors, particularly Tibet and India. The relationship with Tibet was complex, with both religious and political ties to the Tibetan Buddhist culture. Despite this, the nation managed to retain independence throughout most of history, avoiding the fate of many Himalayan kingdoms that were absorbed into the empires of larger neighbors. The British Empire, seeking to secure interests in the region, established a relationship with Bhutan in the 19th century. The country was allowed to retain independence, but agreed to British influence in exchange for protection. This relationship was formalized through the Treaty of Punakha in 1910, recognizing autonomy while acknowledging British suzerainty over foreign affairs. The establishment of the Wangchuck dynasty in 1907, Bhutan, saw a major shift in its political landscape with the establishment of the Wangchuck dynasty. The first king, Eugen Wangchuck, was elected as monarch by the Assembly of Regional Leaders, marking the beginning of a new era. The Wangchuck dynasty brought stability and modernity, and the subsequent kings played a crucial role in shaping the future. Eugen Wangchuck's reign established a more centralized government with a stronger monarchy, and he began to establish ties with the British Raj. Over time, the nation developed a relationship with the British, though it continued to maintain isolationist policies in many respects. The Wangchuck dynasty prioritized the preservation of unique culture, heritage, and independence, ensuring that the country remained one of the last independent kingdoms in the Himalayas. The transition from isolation to modernization, the mid-20th century, Bhutan, began to open up to the outside world, a process that was gradual and cautious. Under King Jigme Dorji Wangchuck, steps were taken toward modernization. His reign, beginning in the 1950s, saw the introduction of important reforms, including the creation of a national army, the establishment of a legal code, and the beginning of infrastructural development. The king also spearheaded the first 5-year plan, laying the groundwork for economic growth. In 1959, Bhutan established diplomatic relations with India and soon after sought aid to improve infrastructure, including roads, education, and healthcare. He also introduced the concept of gross national happiness, which became a key part of the national identity and development philosophy, focusing on well-being rather than just economic growth. Role in regional politics. While Bhutan maintained a policy of non-alignment. Its strategic position between China and India placed it at the center of regional dynamics. The relationship with India was particularly important, as India became its most significant ally and trading partner. Bhutan joined the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation in 1985, reflecting a desire to engage with the broader South Asian community. Despite its small size, political decisions had a significant impact on regional diplomacy. The country maintained a delicate balance in foreign relations, particularly with China, as territorial disputes over the Dokung region flared up in the late 20th century. The nation continued to rely on India for military and diplomatic support, but pursued a cautious approach in dealings with China, ensuring it did not become embroiled in broader conflicts. Political reforms and the transition to democracy in the early 21st century, Bhutan underwent significant political reforms. In 2008, King Jigme Shegyi Wangchuck, the son of Jigme Dorji Wangchuck, abdicated the throne in favor of his son, Jigme Khisar Namgyal Wangchuck, in a move seen as a transition to a constitutional monarchy. This change marked the beginning of democratization. The country held its first democratic elections in 2008, and a new constitution was adopted, reducing the powers of the king and establishing a parliamentary system. The transition was carefully managed, with King Jigme Singye Wangchuck ensuring the country's unique culture, values, and identity were preserved. The transition to democracy was seen as a success, maintaining stability and peace while integrating democratic practices into governance. The development of gross national happiness, one of Bhutan's most unique and enduring contributions to global thought, is the concept of gross national happiness, introduced by King Jigme Wangchuck in the 1970s. GNH is a holistic development philosophy that prioritizes well-being over mere economic growth. Success is measured not by GDP, but by the quality of life of its people. The focus on GNH has influenced international development policy, particularly in countries seeking alternative models to conventional economic measures. Commitment to environmental sustainability, cultural preservation, and social equity has made Bhutan a model for nations seeking to balance modernization with traditional values. Bhutan's role in the modern world today. Bhutan is known for its unique approach to development, prioritizing happiness, sustainability, and environmental stewardship. The country continues to rely on its strong relationship with India, while also fostering diplomatic ties with other countries. Bhutan's rich cultural heritage, stunning landscapes, and commitment to conservation have made it a popular destination for ecotourism. The kingdom's policies of limited tourism and environmental conservation have helped preserve its natural beauty while fostering economic development. Bhutan's commitment to a simple and peaceful lifestyle continues to resonate with people around the world, and its efforts to preserve its unique way of life in the face of globalization are closely watched by other nations. Bhutan's future in a changing world. As Bhutan looks to the future, it faces both opportunities and challenges. The country's small size and landlocked position mean that it must carefully navigate regional politics, especially with its large neighbors, India and China. Bhutan's commitment to maintaining its independence, culture, and way of life will be tested as it adapts to the forces of globalization. However, Bhutan's focus on G&H, environmental sustainability, and social harmony offers a unique model for balancing modernity with tradition. Bhutan will continue to play a critical role in global discussions on well-being, sustainable development, and happiness, inspiring other countries to rethink their development priorities. If you've made it this far, why not like the video and also subscribe to my channel for more? It helps me out a lot, and I would appreciate you so much for doing so. Until next time.